Depression is not just deep sadness or a lack of willpower. If you feel that your mind has become a hostile place, where pleasure has vanished and every task feels like climbing Everest, you are not broken. You are operating under a survival system that has become stuck. Today, we will understand why your brain shut down, and more importantly, how science and great philosophers teach us to rewire the circuits of joy. For decades, we were told that depression was just a chemical imbalance in the brain, like lacking paint on a wall. But authors like Johann Hari reveal that this is an incomplete view. Chemistry does change, yes, but it is usually the symptom, not the sole cause. Depression is often an alarm signal from your body, saying that your fundamental psychological needs are not being met. Hari identifies that we are living through an epidemic of disconnection. We are disconnected from meaningful work, from other people, and most importantly, from values that truly matter. When we live only for external goals and status, our minds enter a state of existential hunger. What we call depression may actually be a form of protest from your subconscious against a life that no longer makes sense. Neurobiologically, depression affects the prefrontal cortex and reduces levels of BDNF, a protein essential for brain plasticity. Dr. Andrew Huberman explains that, under chronic stress, the brain literally begins to prune connections linked to pleasure. You stop seeing colors in life because your brain decided to save energy to survive a threat it senses but cannot see. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, observed that in concentration camps, those who survived were not the physically strongest, but those who had a why. He called the lack of purpose an existential vacuum. Without meaning, the human being falls ill. For Frankl, depression is often the result of this void that we try to fill with immediate pleasures that never satisfy. Andrew Huberman warns about the danger of cheap dopamine spikes, social media, ultra-processed food, and infinite entertainment. When you bombard your brain with easy stimuli, your baseline of satisfaction drops. The result? A profound anhedonia. The inability to feel pleasure in common things. To heal the mind, sometimes a dopamine fast is necessary to recalibrate the reward system. Carl Jung used to say that depression is like a woman in black. If she appears, do not shoo her away. Sit at the table with her and listen to what she has to say. Often, what we call a disease is our shadow, trying to show us unresolved traumas or parts of ourselves that we have neglected. Ignoring the pain only makes it heavier. Facing it is the first step toward integration and healing. The Stoics, like Epictetus, taught that most of our suffering comes from trying to control what is uncontrollable. In depression, we focus on a past that does not change or a future that scares us. The Stoic solution is the radical now. What can I do in this exact second? Perhaps it's just getting out of bed. Small victories over what is under your control rebuild the confidence that depression stole. Recent studies show a clear link between bodily inflammation and depressive symptoms. What you eat, how you sleep, and how much you move directly affects neuroinflammation. An inflamed brain is a brain that cannot process happiness. Diets rich in omega-3 and exposure to morning sunlight are biological tools validated by science to lower this internal fire. The best news from modern neuroscience is neuroplasticity. Your brain is not a rigid structure. It is like a muscle. Even if you have been at rock bottom for years, your brain can create new paths. Every small action, a 5-minute walk, a minute of breathing, an honest conversation, begins to rewire the connections of your prefrontal cortex. Jordan Peterson suggests a powerful strategy. If you can't clean the house, clean a drawer. If you can't clean the drawer, fix one object. The goal is to shrink the task until it becomes less scary than your paralysis. By winning a tiny goal, you release a microdose of dopamine that gives you energy for the next one. Success is a staircase of invisible steps. We are tribal animals. Johann Hari highlights that loneliness is as damaging to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Depression pushes you into isolation, but healing requires connection. It doesn't have to be a party. It just needs to be a real connection where you can be vulnerable. The simple act of being heard and validated reduces cortisol levels almost instantly. Many suffer because they feel like replaceable parts in a machine. Reclaiming autonomy, even in small personal projects or hobbies, is vital. Having something that depends on your creativity and effort restores a sense of agency. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the author of your own story again, as defended by Frankl's logotherapy. Huberman highlights that sleep is the brain's janitor. It is during deep sleep that metabolic toxins are removed. Someone deprived of sleep will have symptoms of depression even if their life is perfect. Regulating the circadian cycle, seeing sunlight upon waking and avoiding screens at night is one of the most effective non-pharmacological treatments to stabilize mood. Comparative studies show that regular aerobic exercise can be as effective as medication for mild to moderate depression. Exercise not only releases endorphins, but clears toxic substances from the blood that affect the brain. It's not about aesthetics. It's about a positive brainwash. Moving the body signals to the brain that you are still in the fight. Regardless of religion, a sense of connection with something greater than the self is a powerful protector against depression. Carl Jung observed that most of his patients in the second half of life suffered from a lack of spiritual vision. Transcendence means leaving the prison of the ego to see the beauty in the collective, in nature, or in the mystery of life. Sometimes depression becomes worse because we fight against it with anger. Radical acceptance is not giving up. It is recognizing the current reality without judgment. Today, I am sad and without energy, and that's okay. By stopping the energy drain of hating your current state, you preserve that energy for recovery. Healing starts when you begin to care for yourself. We are entering an era of personalized treatments, from transcranial magnetic stimulation to new psychedelic approaches in clinical settings. Science has never been so advanced in understanding the mind. If one method didn't work for you, it doesn't mean you are incurable. It just means that key didn't fit your lock. Keep trying new keys. The door will open. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. Martin Luther King said this, and modern psychology confirms it. The knowledge you acquired in these minutes is the seed. For it to germinate, it needs action. Choose one thing, a sleep schedule, a walk, or a conversation. Depression hates movement and clarity. By acting, you begin to dissipate the fog. Your mind is a sacred territory, and the sun has never ceased to exist above the clouds. If this content brought you hope, subscribe to the channel to keep exploring the mysteries of the mind. Leave your like so this message reaches those who need it, and comment below, "I choose my meaning." Share this video. You might be the sign someone asked for today. Until next time.